Hello, can everybody hear me? If so, please give me a yes in the chat. I was having a little bit of technical difficulties. So if you wouldn't mind just letting me know that you can hear. Okay, wonderful. Okay, sorry for my delay. Sometimes tech just doesn't work out. So, but we're going to roll with it. I'm so glad you were here. If you were just in Vishad's session, that was such an incredible way to start this event. Wow, very, very powerful. And if you are on the replay, I highly suggest immediately going and listening to his workshop. Just powerful, powerful information. So I'm going to jump into how to process emotions in a healthy way so that when you are feeling, you know how to handle those negative emotions effectively. So you're not suppressing them and they're not affecting you in a lot of those ways in the statistics that Vishad showed in his previous presentation. So as soon as I figure out how to share my screen here, you'll have to give me a moment. All right, I am working that out. All right, can everybody see this okay, hopefully? All right, looks like it. Wonderful. Hello, Michael. Glad you're here. Jamie, excellent. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are today in the world. Okay, so I'm assuming here y'all can see these slides. Let's see here. All right, so we're going to discover how feeling is actually healing. And I really want to dive into how emotions are one of your greatest resources for strength. And this is powerful if we can learn to identify how we feel without judgment and learn how to process our emotions in a healthy way. You're going to find that you physically feel better, you emotionally feel better, mentally feel better, and you're going to find that just in general, your ability to communicate becomes stronger, more natural, more clear. There's so many powerful things that come from just learning to identify and process emotions in a healthy way. So let's dive in here. I'm Kate Simpson. If we haven't met, feel free and take a screenshot of this if you'd like. This is just how to find me on social media, my websites, and all of that. But I am a certified master practitioner with the Global Energy Method, a certified emotion code and body code practitioner. And I use sound and frequencies as support when working with clients. And so I've spent a lot of time really working with emotions. And it is something that I ended up working with just for my own personal health. It later became my career because it was just something that became such a passion. But I was someone who was in a place of such severe stress and burnout that it affected my health in a very negative way. And I sought out energy healing and specifically modalities like the emotion code as a way to deal with the stress that I just couldn't understand. And I didn't know another way to ask for help. And so this became an incredible practice for me. And I'm going to be sharing that with you today. So let's dive into this. So I want to talk a little bit about emotions. Emotions are energy in motion. Okay. Everything today is that we deal with, okay? Everything in this world and everything in this universe in its purest form is energy. And you're made up of energy. You interact with energy. Your body produces energy, manages energy, uses food as energy, as fuel. Everything in its purest form is energy. And it's a very important concept to understand because all of your thoughts And every emotion you feel, you've ever felt in its purest form is a vibration of energy. And I want to talk a little bit about emotions from more of this scientific type of approach. And I am not a scientist, so this is going to be, for me, this just was simple and it made logical sense. And when you can look at emotions in this simple way, you're going to find that they are one of the most powerful ways to help you heal. Help you communicate, help you not only physically, but also mentally, spiritually, all of it, because we're all connected. So, energy in motion, I just want you to think about all energy vibrates and it vibrates at different frequencies. So, your emotions vibrate at different frequencies. And emotions are perfectly normal, natural, healthy human expressions even when they're emotions that don't feel so good. Okay. We are all human. We all feel. And what we sometimes don't notice or realize is how much when we have a feeling that we don't like, that we tend to suppress that energy. And we're going to talk a little bit about how damaging that can be, ignoring or suppressing, or what we call in my business, trapping an emotion and how that can affect us. So I just want you to understand that emotions are physiological. It's a physical response to our environment. Okay. And so you have thoughts, you have feelings every single day. And so as input comes into your awareness, your environment, your body actually produces the emotions that you feel. Okay. They're produced by the body and they're felt in the body. Okay. So they're not only made by the body, but they affect the body. And they are meant to be felt and processed, whether that's positive or negative. Now, I like to show it like a wave. Okay. You have some type of experience. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe you're just witnessing something outside. Maybe you're having a conversation, whatever it is, those things in life generate this response. Your subconscious, it is taking in this information. A chemical reaction actually happens in your brain, which then triggers one of your organs or glands to produce a vibration of energy. And that vibration of energy we call an emotion. So I show it like a wave. Your body produces an emotion, you then feel it at the top, and then it moves right along. Okay. That is what you experience when you have an emotion. So I know that seems really simple, but that's what we call a healthy emotional experience, a healthy process of emotions. And I promise you that you do that very, very successfully many times every single day. Your body produces an emotion, you feel it, and then it releases from your body. And it happens very quickly. Many of us don't realize when we're not feeling so good, or maybe we go into those times of silence, we withdraw, or we're in extreme, reaction mode. We have an extreme emotional experience. Sometimes when we feel certain emotions again and again, it feels like they last forever. But in reality, your emotional experience is actually very quick. Your body produces it, you feel it, and then it processes along. So, feeling your emotions could sometimes last maybe 3 to 5 seconds, maybe up to 60 or 90 seconds. So, that would be kind of a longer time. But then what happens is you feel another emotion, and then you feel another emotion, and you feel another emotion. And so you're feeling all the time. You're thinking and you're feeling and you're feeling and you're thinking. And your thinking influences how you feel, and how you feel influences how you think. These are normal, healthy ways that you're designed to work. You're meant to feel it, notice that information that's coming in from your environment. And maybe you need to do something about how you feel. Maybe you just need to notice how you feel. Maybe it's something that requires an action. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it requires a conversation, but it's input, it's information. Our feelings are valid. Our feelings are normal. Our feelings are a response to our environment. So does that make sense to everybody? Can you give me a yes in the chat if that makes sense about how that kind of wave of how emotions are meant to be felt? Give me a quick yes so I know that you're with me here, because the next part is going to be very impactful. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate everybody. If you can participate in the chat, we're actually going to have an opportunity later. I'll be demonstrating a little bit about emotions. And if you choose to, you'll be able to volunteer in the chat. And if you can't figure out the chat, no worries. You're with me. It's all good. You're going to get so much value from today. So we all understand this healthy wave of emotion now. Okay. Well, what happens is throughout life, I'm sure we've all heard this idea that we suppress emotions or we bottle them up or we just ignore them. A lot of us have been taught growing up that, you know what, just deal with it. Just doesn't matter how you feel. You just have to act. You have to do this. You have to do that. Not you're trained almost not to honor your emotions, not to feel certain things. A lot of us have a lot of experiences where we've been told that what we feel isn't valid. And so sometimes when we start to feel these emotions that maybe aren't so positive, so maybe it's a negative experience, we experience some kind of sadness or rejection, or we feel angry and frustrated. How many of us have ever had the experience where maybe you've said it or you've heard somebody say, gosh, I should feel this way, but I don't. I feel angry, but I should feel, another way. Have you ever heard yourself say that or somebody else say that you should feel or not feel a certain way? um, we're not about the shoulds here, okay? You should feel whatever you feel. And so, what happens is in life, when we have some type of emotion that is not, um, we'll say, positive or negative vibration, your body produces that energy based on your environment. You start to feel it just like you're supposed to. But instead, maybe it's too overwhelming, too scary, too intense, whatever it is. But instead of allowing that to be identified and felt, we and allow that to process out of your body, that energy in motion, we suppress that energy. We bottle it up, we stuff it down, and we stuff it down, and we stuff it down. And we think that when we've done that, that we've handled it, right? Okay, not dealing with it, but instead of allowing it, you suppressed it. Now, in its purest form, everything is energy. That is now a vibration of energy of that emotion that meant to move out of your system is now trapped in your body, or it's trapped right outside your body. You have an energy field around your body and it could be trapped there. Now, when that happens, that vibration of energy that's trapped in your body, wherever that's trapped, in or outside of your body, it's disrupting tissues, muscles, organs, brainwave functions. It's creating more emotional patterns or habits. Part of you is vibrating that negative frequency. So it actually makes it easier for you to feel that again and again and again because your body's holding on to that vibration. Now, when I first learned that, that kind of blew my mind because I had been in a state of extreme stress for many years. I remember being in a career that I didn't like, but I stayed in because I was just felt like I was supposed to be successful. I had to make it work. I had gone to college for this, so I had to be successful and do this work. And even though it was miserable and I hated it, I forced myself to stuff those feelings away and continue to work. I ignored the communication from my body. I ignored the communication from my environment that maybe this wasn't aligned for me. And I suppressed emotion after emotion after emotion because I just had to just keep moving forward. Okay. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but what happened was after years and years of suppressing all of these emotional energies, I became extremely reactive. Um, I just would react to situations emotionally. I would explode emotionally. I would it was like emotions were out of my control at that point. And I kept trying to suppress them. And it took a toll on my body. Because remember, we talked about emotions are a physiological response. And if we then suppress this energy and it's trapped in our body, and I had all these emotions trapped, I started to get extreme headaches, chronic headaches, extreme tension in my shoulders, back, neck. I was getting lots of migraine headaches. I started having all of this tension in my jaw. I started feeling my heart palpitate. I started just unable to sleep. I had crazy insomnia. I started to notice my hand was shaking. I had all of these symptoms that were coming up because, again, instead of just allowing it, my body started screaming, you need to deal with these suppressed emotions. Now, I share that with you because people always ask, well, what's the big deal if you suppress an emotion? Again, it disrupts your physical body. And it creates these emotional patterns. It keeps you in a state of like a fight, flight, or freeze response. That's a nervous system response, which puts you in a place where you're never feeling safe. If you're not feeling safe, you're not going to be able to heal or recover from a lot of the symptoms that show up. Okay. So that's really, really important to understand that if we suppress or trap emotions, we're putting our body in a state of physical disarray as well as mental stress. So the mental stress, it just, we're trying to just push our way through, but we're having a physical response and a mental response when we suppress emotions. So hope this is really, really important to understand. But even during this time where I was suppressing all kinds of those negative emotions, I still processed some of them in a healthy way. It's kind of like you get in this habit of suppressing emotions, but there were those few times that maybe I felt a certain way and I processed it in a healthy way. So I do want you to understand that even though you might find that you're someone who suppresses or bottles up emotions, that there's a simple way out, and I'm going to show that to you in just a minute here. But at the same time, I want to encourage you that you do know how to naturally process emotions and you do it successfully every single day. So let's dive in a little bit deeper. And let's see here. I want to keep talking about these trapped emotions because the trapped emotions essentially is just your own version of emotional baggage. Okay. And so we talked a little bit about this chronic pain and how it can affect our emotional patterns and habits, but it also disrupts our hormones and our thought processes. So let's talk about how to get through it because I'm an action person. Okay, I know you came here to learn, and I want you to learn, but I think that it can be more powerful if we can take action in the moment during this workshop. I want to actually teach you that when you're in those negative emotional states, I want to give you a tool that you can do in the moment. It takes about 1 minute to do, and you can completely shift yourself from an extreme state of emotion to a place of calm and peace. So does that sound like a good idea? Does anybody here want to try this with me? Give me a emoji or give me a thumbs up in the chat or a yes in the chat if you're willing to do this with me. This is going to take about a minute after I explain it, but this is a powerful tool that you can use every single day. You can use it multiple times a day to get you from a place of stress to a place of calm. Okay. Okay. So you're with me. You're going to do this with me. It's going to be very simple. I appreciate you all participating. Okay. I want you to just imagine, and maybe you felt this way today. Maybe you felt this way yesterday, or you can think of a time that you felt this way. Maybe you feel negative emotions all of the time. But if you've ever been in like an emotional spin, like you reacted to something, maybe you reacted in anger or frustration or extreme sadness or just hopelessness, whatever the emotion is, insecurity, nervousness, if you've ever felt like you were in an emotional spin that you couldn't get out of, like you just kept feeling that negative emotion again and again and again, if you catch yourself in that state, This exercise is incredibly powerful to just stop it in the moment. Okay. And maybe you're not in that emotional spin. Maybe something occurred and it made you angry or upset or sad or frustrated. And it's a perfectly natural reaction. Like it makes perfect logical sense. It's healthy to have that emotion, even if it's negative, but you want to make sure that you don't suppress it. You don't trap that emotion because a lot of us are in that habit of just it's too overwhelming and we don't want to deal with it. So, again, I want you to just think right now of a negative emotion that maybe you felt recently, maybe within the last 24 hours. Or maybe it's something that even if you didn't experience it today or yesterday, you feel on a regular basis, like it's become an emotional pattern for you. Like maybe you have a pattern of anger, or maybe you have a pattern of just despair or frustration, sadness, whatever that is. And a lot of times we don't want to admit that we feel that way. This is powerful, this a powerful exercise that allows you to take control, honor that emotion, and process it immediately. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that negative emotion and we're going to move it the way it's meant to be moved. Okay. So I hope you're excited to try this with me. I want you to now, if you're driving, don't do this. You can do this, but don't close your eyes. Okay. So you can do this while you're driving. You can do this while you're walking. You can do this while you're sitting, standing, washing the dishes, whatever you're doing. This powerful exercise you can do anywhere. Okay. If you happen to be sitting, you can choose to close your eyes. If you're doing something else in life, please keep your eyes open. This works just as effectively either way. Okay. So, what I want you to do is think of one emotion that you felt recently. Maybe you feel it right now. Maybe it's something that's that pattern. So, maybe it's nervousness, anger, frustration, sadness, insecurity. It doesn't matter what it is, but just give me, I got it in the chat. If you know what the emotion is, that one negative emotion that you want to learn to process immediately. So just say, I got it in the chat. And I'll wait just a moment. Okay, perfect. Or you can also just give me an emoji, a thumbs up. Okay, good. I saw another thumbs up. So it may or may not be easy for you to use the chat, but if you can do an emoji, then I know that you're with me as well. Okay. I see a couple more thumbs up as emojis. Perfect. Okay, wonderful. So you have that emotion. I'm going to just pick one that I tend to experience. And I'm just going to pick nervousness, right? Sometimes I get nervous when I do presentations. So that's something I can identify with. Okay. So mine's going to be different from yours, and that's okay. What I want you to do, we're going to take 6 deep breaths together, but we're going to do it in a very specific way. Okay. I want you to think of that emotion. If you're feeling it currently, let's pick that emotion, whatever it is you're feeling. I want you to just give it a name, one name, whatever you're currently feeling, if it's a negative emotion, if it's something recently. So you said you had got your emotions. So you're going to take 6 breaths. You're going to start by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. And as you're breathing in, I want you to just say to yourself mentally, I breathe in calmness. Now, you can say that mentally, quietly, or you can speak it out loud, whichever works best for you. I'll be speaking it out loud as a part of this demonstration, so you can just listen to me, or you can just, again, say it in your own head. But do whatever works for you because I want you to use this tool not only today, but anytime you feel a frustrating negative emotion going forward. I want you to really use this exercise. So, in your own mind, I breathe in calmness. Okay. So I breathe in calmness as you're breathing in. And then when you breathe out, I want you to breathe out very specifically, like you're blowing air through like a drinking straw. So just like this. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. So you're going to breathe in calmness in through your nose. And then you're going to breathe out like you're blowing air through a drinking straw. And when you breathe out, I want you to mentally tell yourself, I breathe out whatever the name of that emotion is. Okay. So I'm going to use nervousness. Okay. So we're going to do this together right now. You're going to insert whatever emotion you have. But I want you to just take a quick second and just notice how you feel physically, how you feel energetically. There's no right or wrong way. You're not supposed to feel a certain way, but just take notice of your body and of your kind of your mental chatter. Okay. And I want you to think about that negative emotion that we're going to process. Okay. So just notice how you feel. For me, I'm thinking about nervousness. How do I feel in my body? How do I feel right now? And now what we're going to do is start the breathing. Okay. So do this with me. Okay. I breathe in calmness and I breathe out nervousness. And I breathe in calmness and I breathe out nervousness. And I breathe in calmness and I breathe out nervousness. And I breathe in calmness and I breathe out nervousness. I breathe in calmness and I breathe out nervousness. And I breathe in calmness and I breathe out nervousness. Okay, and now just let your breathing go back to normal and just check in with your body and notice how you feel. Okay, you may still feel that emotion or you may have noticed a major shift. Okay, there's no wrong answer here. But what happened that was very powerful just now is you processed that emotional energy. Instead of suppressing that energy, you went from the feeling it to allowing it to release. And it took 60 seconds or less. Okay, so did you like that? Give me a thumbs up if you thought that was helpful and beneficial. Let me know how you're feeling in the chat. Good. This is powerful. Good. I appreciate the thumbs up. If you can just create a habit of going to this when you're not feeling good, when you're feeling negative, um, it's so powerful because you're going to process that energy. You're not going to suppress it. Your body's going to feel lighter. You're going to actually be in this situation where you're raising the energetic vibration of your body because you're going to interrupt that process of trapping emotions. Okay. Now you may still have lots and lots of trapped emotions from the past up till today, but today in this moment we just interrupted that process and we processed it in a normal healthy way. So amazing work. Thank you for participating. Use this is a powerful exercise that you can use every single day. Now, if you want to take a screenshot here, I have a free guide on how to prevent trapping emotions, and it talks about another exercise that you can do very similar and quickly, that you can help process emotions and get into this place where you're breaking that habit of bottling things up. So feel free to take a screenshot. You can go to that link and download my free guide, and I'll help you give some more benefits to that. So now I want to talk a little bit about what specifically, emotions are that we tend to trap or suppress. Okay. Again, these trapped emotions is your emotional baggage. Okay. And we all trap emotions. It happens. But now we know how to process them and not trap them. What do we do about the ones we've had in the past? Okay. This is the types of emotions that could be all over your body, right outside your energy field. These are the types of suppressed emotions that we've all trapped throughout our lives. Okay. We all have our own variety of these emotions. They're also known as internal or external energy. Okay. Trapped emotions is a very specific catchphrase that we use in the process of emotion code, a very powerful energy healing modality by Dr. Bradley Nelson. That's how I started, just helping with my stress and changing my entire body, was by releasing these trapped emotions. Other modalities or other practitioners call them internal or external energies. Okay. All the same thing. It's emotional vibrations of energy. But there's different types. So the ones that are typically trapped inside your body, okay, these little balls of energy everywhere. There's a current emotion, which is one that you've experienced in like the last moment of the last like 24 hours. It's a recent emotion that is actively being suppressed. So we interrupted that, right? We did that with that exercise. So you shouldn't have any of these current ones. However, if you don't stop and process the energy, then it suppresses. It's kind of considered current if it's like within the a current time frame. Okay, maybe 24 hours, maybe even 48 hours would be considered kind of a current emotion. Okay, then we have a suppressed emotion, and that's like one ball of energy that got trapped inside your body. And again, when we trap that energy, it could be trapped anywhere. It could be trapped in your neck, your head, your lungs, your heart, your kidneys. It could be trapped in your left knee or your right baby toe. It could be trapped anywhere, okay? But wherever that suppressed emotion's trapped, it's vibrating, it's a ball of energy, and it's disrupting the area of that body around it. Okay, that's a suppressed emotion. A resonance emotion is when it's moved from like one ball of energy to now it has like a resonance that's vibrating out throughout the body. It might be trapped in one area, but the vibration is spreading throughout the body. So if you think about like taking a hammer to a bell, you hear that initial dong, right? But then you hear that vibration that continues beyond the initial hit with the hammer. You hear that vibration. That's what a resonance emotion is like. Okay. Accumulated emotions. This is when you have accumulated one emotion multiple times and it's kind of building upon each other. So that's where, like, maybe you've had sadness or anger or rejection. I know rejection was a big one for me, that I accumulated a lot of this trapped energy. And it's kind of like I felt rejection and it trapped in an area of my body, and it trapped again and it trapped again and it trapped again. And it's like this cluster of that emotion that's accumulated. So that's a accumulated emotion. We also absorb emotions from other people and from animals. And animals absorb from us quite a bit as well. But an absorbed emotion just did not originate with you. It's still trapped in your body and it's still affecting your body, but it just didn't originate with you. Maybe it came from a partner, spouse. Maybe it came from a parent, a friend, a neighbor. You could have absorbed somebody else's emotion at the grocery store. It can happen anywhere. So some people are more sensitive to these than others if you find that you're more of an empath type person, but all of us have absorbed emotions that have happened in our lives. It just might, some people might be more sensitive to it than others. So somebody else felt something, you picked up that vibration and you suppressed it in your body. Doesn't mean the other person did. You suppressed the emotion. So it's affecting you still the same because it's that negative vibration in your body. It just didn't originate with you. Okay, and then the last internal type of energy is an inherited emotion. And yes, you can inherit emotions from your parents, grandparents, great grandparents. It can go many, many generations, but this is one energy that just gets transferred down, just like you inherit your eye color and your hair color. So again, you can't do anything about that. But if you've ever caught yourself thinking, like, I don't think I've ever not felt that way, you likely have an inherited emotion. Okay. Now, the types of external energies, which are external to the body, meaning that they're in this energy field around you, external energies can originate from you internally and move outward, or they can come from the outside world in. Okay, so from TV and news, from other people, from something that you witness, you can pick up energy from the outside world. Okay, those are more of external energies, but they're not trapped in your body. They're trapped in this field right outside of your body. So they still affect your body, they affect your mentality, but they're trapped outside. And so these are created energies, meaning energy that you felt, you created, and it's trapped outside the body. There's also stagnant energies, which is just like a suppressed emotion that is not moving, like it's just really stuck in one area of your energy field. There's an influencing energy. This is where you think about like an energy that comes from like maybe a message on the internet or TV or radio, like ads sometimes are energy with the intent to influence your thoughts, your behaviors, your actions, your emotions. So an influencing emotion is affecting you with intent. Not all energy intends to influence us. Some do, some don't, but this is definitely something with intent. Okay. We also absorb emotions externally as well, and we also inherit emotions externally. So those are the types of emotional energies that you can suppress. And what I would like to do is actually give you the experience of releasing these emotions. So I work as a energy healing practitioner. In all of the methods that I work with, I help release emotions from the body. This originated for me with the concept of the emotion code, a very, very powerful energy healing modality. My other methods as well help you release and process emotions. And these are the types of emotions that we would release and process. And what I'd love to do, if somebody would like to volunteer, you'll probably have to volunteer in the chat because when you give the emojis, I can't tell who you are. But if you would like to volunteer, how this would work is I only work with permission. I use a process called muscle testing, which I'll demonstrate, where I put little rings with my fingers and I interlock them. And essentially, what I'm doing is I'm measuring the strength or weakness of my muscles. And that strength or weakness is a way that your body just communicates to you. And so we can ask the subconscious questions, and your subconscious knows everything about you. Okay, so if we want to do a release an emotion, I can just ask my own body, do I have an emotion that's trapped that I can release right now? And if I pull on my fingers like that gently and the fingers stay locked, that's a yes response. And if they pull apart, it's a no. So if I ask, do I have a trapped emotion that can be released? And I pull, that's a yes. So I myself can release an emotion right now. Okay, but I want to help have one of you have the experience of that right here live if you want. When we release it, it's very simple, it's very fast. And here's the best part about releasing emotions: you don't have to talk about the emotion, you don't have to relive the experience, you don't have to even remember when or why you trapped that emotion. All we do is find that vibration that's trapped in your body and release it. And when that happens, your body can rebalance, restore, and repair itself just as it's divinely designed to do. So, okay, so if somebody would like to experience that, let's see here. So Joshua Harper, yes. Okay, you'll volunteer. That would be perfect. And if somebody else would like to, you can just volunteer after Josh, and we can do that. So Joshua, let's do this. And I know we've experienced this before, so you know how this works. But I am just going to basically say, okay, is it okay for us to connect energetically? And I'm getting a yes response from your body. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to muscle test my body, but because we have this agreement, my subconscious understands that my needs are being set aside, and I'm working on Joshua right now. So I'm just going to ask Joshua's subconscious, is there a trapped emotion we can release right now? And that is a yes. Okay, so we're going to find out what the emotion is. Is this an internal emotion? And that's a yes. So it's trapped in your body. And so is it current, suppressed, resonance, accumulated, prenatal? So this happened before you were born. When you were in the womb, you experienced a prenatal emotion. Okay, so we're going to find out what the emotion is. I just have a bunch of charts, and we're just going to ask what the emotion is. Okay, so this is the emotion of despair. Okay, so while you were in the womb, you were developed, you felt the emotion of despair, you didn't process that. How could you? So there's no judgment here, but this energy has been in you your entire life. So I'm just going to ask if it's okay to release this emotion of despair right now. And that's a yes. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to use an acupuncture meridian that goes from the front of the lip over the head and down the back. Okay. And so, Joshua, we're going to take this emotion of despair and we're just going to release that from the body, letting that go for good. It's okay that you felt it, and it's time to let that go. And now we're just going to ask your body, has that been released? And that's a strong yes response. So beautiful. And now what I want to do is we've released that negative vibration. We're going to put a positive one in. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and add in this positive vibration of hope. And has that been added? It has. Beautiful. So Joshua, go ahead and take a nice deep breath for me, and then just let us know in the chat how you're feeling. And that's how simple it is to release a trapped emotion from the past. And when you do this consecutively, emotion after emotion after emotion, it's incredible how people tell me they just feel lighter, more energized, they can sleep better, their body starts to repair itself because those negative vibrations are gone. So wonderful. Okay, Steve Bean, you also were willing to volunteer. So I'd love to work on you next. Well, we have just a few minutes left. So Steve, I'm just going to ask you, your subconscious, if it's okay for us to connect energetically. All right. So Joshua says he felt it. Wonderful. Okay. Here's another thing. Sometimes you feel the emotions leave and sometimes you don't. So just so you know, um, sometimes you might get hot or cold in the moment. That's releasing energy. Sometimes you might yawn or you might laugh even. That's releasing energy. So sometimes you notice it, you feel a tingling, and sometimes you don't. So just know that if you don't feel anything, that's perfectly okay. But if you do feel something, it's perfectly okay. This is all the movement of energy. So I do want to share that with everyone. Okay, so Steve, I'm going to ask your subconscious now if it's okay for me to connect energetically with you. And I'm getting a yes for that. I'm going to ask if you're ready, willing, and able. And is it right, safe, and appropriate for us to release emotions today? And that's a yes. Okay, so Steve, I'm just going to ask, do you have an internal energy that can be released right now? And that's a no. Do you have an external energy that can be released right now? That's a yes. So it's outside of your body, but it's still affecting you. Okay, so let's find out what type of external energy is this. This is an influencing energy. So this is an energy that you absorb from the outside world, and it has the intent to influence your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, your actions. Okay, so sometimes when you feel a little out of control, it's sometimes because of these influencing energies and you don't understand why you're feeling a certain way. It can create some confusion sometimes. So let's find out what type of influencing emotion this is. This is the emotion of hate. Okay. So this again came from the outside world, but it's affecting you and you're feeling like energy of hate is essentially vibrating outside of your body. And so we're going to go ahead and release this. This is not a positive energy. It's okay that it's felt, but we're going to release that right now. So we're going to grab that influencing hate energy and we're just going to release that from your energy field, letting that go for good. And has that been released? That is a strong yes. Beautiful. I'm now going to replace that with the exact opposite. We're going to put love in. Okay. We're going to add in this positive energy of love, adding that to your energy field. And has that been installed? Yes, it has. Beautiful. So, Steve, go ahead and take a nice deep breath in for me and out. And let me know how you're feeling in the chat. Hopefully that felt good. You may or may not have noticed it, but that is now permanently released. And that's a common question I get. Is it gone for good? I promise it is. It doesn't mean you won't ever feel that emotion again. But if you notice yourself feeling it, now you know how to process it. Take those nice 6 deep breaths in, breathe in calmness, breathe out hate or whatever you're feeling, and you're going to move that along without suppressing it. So you've got really a powerful tool with that exercise I shared. But the value of doing this type of energy work, it's simple, it's fast. And when you work with me, we can release a number of emotions again and again and again very, very quickly. So Good. Feeling fine, not very different, but glad to have that release. Okay, wonderful. Good, good. Yeah, sometimes people physically feel it and sometimes they don't. And that is perfectly okay either way. It is gone and it's gone for good. So beautiful. And I just encourage that to help people understand this is something that's an ongoing process that you can do again and again and again. So, a great poll question just popped up. Do you feel that you have suppressed emotions? Go ahead and answer that poll in the chat. Would love to know what everyone's thinking. All right. All right. Very cool. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of share what it would look like to work with me if you're curious about that. Um, Releasing emotions is something that when I started doing this, I did it on myself very regularly. When I was learning how to do this, the average person has hundreds of these trapped emotions. There's no shame in having them. We bottled up our emotions our whole life. The older we are, the more that we probably have. But it's so simple to release them. And when you release one after another, again, you just feel lighter, more energized. You're able to think before you react. You have more ability to communicate better with other people. You have this ability to just move forward. It's incredibly healing for the body. For myself, my ability to deal with stress changed completely. The physical symptoms I had started melting away because, again, I was releasing all this trapped negative energy in my body. So when we work together, if it's something that you're curious about, there's a QR code there. You can book a free call with me to just chat and talk a little bit about what energy healing could look like for you. But you can work with me in three different ways. I have my rebalance energy healing, which are private sessions. You can do one session or you can book a bundle and save a little bit of money. But this is one-on-one, very deep work where we can identify numerous energies and release them directly from your body. Very powerful, specific, detailed, and fast. Okay. It's a gentle practice, and we can do a whole lot within a session. We also have inner healing, which is group sessions that I do. I do that in collaboration with Jody Solberg, who is also in this space. She'll be speaking later today. We created a group session where we combine the emotion code release work that I do with her guided hypnotherapy meditations. So, again, a powerful way to release and also repattern your energy and your subconscious so that your subconscious is moving towards a positive vision of what you want to create in life. So those are our group sessions. Those are incredible. You can check out again my site to look at the schedule. We have different topics that we work on each month. So you can check those out. And then I kind of have a self-care path. This is where I kind of guide you through using sound and frequency. I use a software called the AO Scan technology, where you can create and subscribe to this technology. And I guide you through how to use sound and frequencies to help you process emotions that you're feeling every day. So that's more of a self-care path where you're not necessarily meeting me for session after session, but you have a way to kind of take some healing into your own hands. So again, if you reach out with that QR code, it's just a free call with me. I invite you to do that so we can talk a little bit further and talk about what it might look like to support you. So I hope you found this session helpful. Please let me know if you want to chat a little bit more. I appreciate you all being here because just showing up today is really that's the first step in any type of healing is just saying, hey, I'm here to learn more. And I encourage everyone that's here today to join the community. So whoever brought you to this event, join the Alternative Healthcare Solutions community because you'll have access to myself and all the other practitioners through that community. And we've really found that, multiple practitioners and modalities really complement each other. And so you really have access to incredible tools and information. So thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the event. I believe that Judy's up next. I'm not 100% positive, but that will be incredible as well. So thank you all for being here. Hope you found it useful. Have an amazing day.